Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending this session within the framework of the third annual Gobeshona Global Conference. And first of all, we would like to thanks the organizer and the ACAD team for inviting us and assisting in the coordination. And today we will have a session called International Cooperation Reimagined to present the United Species DAO. Starting, we have a presentation and opening remarks from Agustin Materi, the founder of United Species.
Sorry, I was looking for my mic to be open. Thank you, Mayra, for the introduction. Thank you, Farin, and Dr. Salim Hugh, and everyone from the organizers from IICAD and IIED. We would like to start this discussion, which I believe myself it's very useful, as we can somehow engage with the worldwide community working already with the locally led adaptation principles. And we are trying to introduce this sector to the technology sector, and we mean that the most advances in the technologies that we believe that can be used in a way that locally led adaptation can be mainstreamed, right? Which is something that we need to do fast, and that's why we, as United Species, are integrating these principles, the locally led adaptation principles, with the Web3 blockchain, democracy, and legitimacy of the interventions of the projects that we work on, to be more direct and to be less intermediation in the middle, in order to regain impacts and thrive in this crisis. So just to frame something that you probably, all of us here probably know, we know the emissions gap report from UNEP every year, and something that brought us the attention in this regard is that we, as former UN staff, we are part of this organization called United Species, were quite shocked when we saw, for instance, the UNDP website speaking about extinction, and obviously coming from the reports of the IPBES and the IPCC. And if we can somehow bring this data into something tangible that everyone can understand, this is the 28 gigatons we are in the gap from complying with the Paris Agreement. It's more or less like turning off the lights and cars of the G7 countries for the next 7 years. So I think we should create a narrative in order to somehow think or understand that this is quite impossible to do, or we believe this needs to be done, but it's very difficult, and we need to make something that it's bold in order to adapt in this regard. So we all know that we need more climate adaptation finance. This is the adaptation gap report also, and we all know that it's not reaching even 30 billion a year in terms of finance, when we already need 340 billion a year according to UNEP reports. And also, when we speak about the implementation of those funds, we are not making it not even closer to what we need. This is the the adaptation gap report of 2020, where we see that only 3% of global adaptation initiatives reported real reductions in climate risks for local communities, right? So this is something that for us in United Species, it's unacceptable. So our solution we are proposing is to create a decentralized autonomous organization. This is the organizations that are native to the Web3, to blockchain. I'm not sure if you are all here related to this technology or aware of its advantages, but we are going to see some of that, and my colleague Juan Duran will explain a bit more how this can work in practice. But the interesting stuff in this is that through this technology, we can provide actually direct means of knowledge and technology, not only the Web3 technology, but I mean digital MRVs to measure the activities that we are performing in our projects in a very much more efficient way. So our ethos is the decentralization of power, the distributed inclusive networks such as this, and we would like Gobeshona to be engaged in our vision, and deep innovation. So in concrete, we are, as I told you, we are a DAO, we are a decentralized autonomous organization, now so far made by 36 members. We are 36 members from all around the world, mostly from Latin America and the Caribbean, which most of us, as I also told you, were UN staff. For instance, we have among our members the former GCF CEO. We have some of the former ministers of environment and climate change from the region. I myself was coordinator and program officer from UNEP. And we had diverse members also from the Web3 community, and scientists and activists coming together into this new vision we are trying to put forward in some concrete projects we are starting so far. We just been built like 3 months ago, more or less, and that's why we would like to engage with all of you in order to become part of this DAO. And well, these were some of the events we've been participating in the last 3-4 months. That's myself speaking in Bogota last year at the end of the year in the biggest conference of Web3. It's DevCon, held by Ethereum, the blockchain Ethereum. And what we are trying to do here, and what we kind of see that makes a lot of sense in this term, is locally led adaptation. It's about decentralization and regaining power from the lowest or the nearest territorial institutional arrangements. And Web3 is about something very alike. So it is about the decentralization of power and trying to automate the center, right? Like the founders of the blockchain call it. So when we see some more reasons why we are working on locally led adaptation, we all know the specific drivers of vulnerability related to local contexts are ignored by the current international cooperation system. This is data from UNEP and also from IIED. And this is, in fact, attributed to technocracy, right? To people providing solutions from their desks, such as we did, and we realize it's not working. And also, well, the climate justice arguments in the people providing the problem and the solution in terms of budget, and also how this international system of cooperation it's providing after all, if we measure results, it's providing an elite capture of resources, and this is the way UNEP is framing it in the adaptation gap report. So this is something that really moves us. So well, as we all know, while the international cooperation system is working on these projects that are creating opportunities for consultants, and the private sector is mostly concerned on projects and carbon markets, we know that the communities have somehow aligned in these 8 principles and say we need long-term predictable finance, we need support and institutional reinforcement, and we need data flows on climate risks and uncertainties in such a way that we can use them in the local communities. So this is our work program. This is our delivery model. We have created a methodology where we have the way to reach these communities and see how the institutional arrangements are working, which is the level of engagement of the private sector and the civil society, which are the biases in the legitimacy of those institutional arrangements. And we, under design thinking and the Mapathons methodology, we created our own methodology in order to reach the communities. And under the principle of subsidiarity, create technical assistance, very concrete solutions, and technology opportunities regarding the Web3, digital MRVs, and others such as artificial intelligence as well. In the middle, we have the program, this DAO, which is created under smart contracts, which is immutable, and the transactions held there are tracked for record, and there's no way to bias them. And Juan maybe will tell us some more how this can work in practice, which is basically formed by smart contracts that are aligned with the 8 principles of locally led adaptation, and also with the decentralization principles of the Web3. And our dream is that the climate finance flows have an alternative. This is what we aim when we are just now in the stage of the minimum viable product. But what we aim is this to become an alternative for the international cooperation system in order to test how DAOs and the Web3 blockchain systems can create more transparency, inherent transparency, which is what locally led adaptation is also looking for. Then we have the projects. We work with communities that are already working in projects within the carbon markets. Juan Sebastian will speak a bit more about that, about how can projects from the voluntary carbon market or the conservation projects or international cooperation projects can become locally led in a way. How can we go there and reverse and put upside down the principles in order to make it bottom up, the decisions and the way that projects are created. And then we have this platform where, according to similar biophysical and social contexts, we want to invite the whole communities of Latin America, Asia, and the global South to become testing through Web3 this vision and gain the scalability we need in order to comply with the adaptation goals of the Paris Agreement and the whole community. So we believe that we have to go through a process of leaving aside the need of COPs and the need of reuniting in a worldwide conferences and try to make, why not, 1 million of COPs in our territories lead it through the locally led adaptation principles. So that's what Web3 enables us to do, and what this is our dream, and this is how we work with communities, right? These locally led COPs we can call. We are starting them through meetings with selecting the local communities who are working already. We go there to the community and identify the climate vulnerability issues through an educational and scientific approach. We register the efforts to address them. We don't want to overlap with our initiatives, but to work if they are willing to give a chance to the locally led adaptation principles to be actually implemented in those projects. And we map the needs such as data flows, long-term financing, and determine technological and technical assistance solutions for them that are customized for them. And then we go to the international community, as we are most of us are experts in climate finance, and how, when we get conceptualize the problems of these communities, how can we get finance? How can we get not only the traditional finance, but also the social crypto finance, the tokenomics, as it is called within the Web3 system, and try to look out for solutions that are actually tangible for these communities. So we invite the whole locally led adaptation movement to join the Web3 and the ReFi. The ReFi is a movement of regeneration and adaptation within the Web3. ReFi is about regeneration finance, if you don't know. And we would like to hear from your side as well, if you can share your project and if it's willing to become locally led. We are very eager to hear about this, as we are in our first stages, but we have a great talent and a lot of potential within our team. So we really want to move forward in this regard. Thank you, and I would like to hear my colleagues, Juan Sebastian, and everyone from the channel connected right now. If you want to share with us your questions on your projects, very welcome. Juan, hello.
Hi, Agustin, and hi, everyone. Thank you very much for sharing all this information. So actually, as Agustin said, we believe in a future where information is actually the key that will give power to the communities themselves. So actually, with information, you will need like a governance structure or a big, in, let's call it a bureaucratic infrastructure that will lead us to a specific goal, but actually we as a community can define the goals, how we're going to go there, and then with the information that we share and that we expose to the network, then we can find that everybody is pushing to that goal and quantify and analyze how that goal is being met, and then afterwards make the decision where the investments, for example, should go to and where do they come from. So that's actually one of the main reasons why we believe that the power of the community can be made through the implementation of technology and the implementation of a community that is actually active and analyzing what is happening on the field. And yeah, thank you very much. And congratulate you, Agustin, for inviting us.
Thank you, Juan, and congratulations to you as well, as you are part of this. Juan is a member of our DAO, and he's the CEO of Eco Registry, working in a very interesting technology, which is gaining a very incredible results so far. Obviously, we need more, and we know it, but the way Juan is and his team is implementing technology in mostly in the carbon market projects is gaining this intermediation automation, as we call it, in very higher than average from other projects. It's gaining this way of contributing to sharing protocols, to sharing information in order to reduce redundant consultancies, for instance, and also to track finance for everyone involved in a project, every community that it's involved in a project, who can access to a cell phone, for instance, can see exactly where funds are coming and going to. So Juan, if you would like to tell us a bit more how Eco Registry works and your dream related to the vision of United Species, very welcome, and thank you.
No, perfect. Thank you. I actually have one slide that I have introduced in different conferences. So what this slide shows is the necessity of something that I would call a climate asset service bus. This is very high technical, but I will explain to everybody. So this is like a tool that allows, or a translator that allows every single registry or every single information system to exchange information with other information systems, with other registries, with other exchanges, so that everybody can have a language that the systems will speak only one language. And that's very important because that will enable that the information is transparent and shared to everybody around the world, also including, for example, structures like international registries, country registries, or actually the climate action data trust in the future as well, so that there really could be a third party auditing that we are trying to avoid. But if there is the need, and if there is the need for a scrutiny that analyzes what is going on every single project or every single implementation, that everybody can have access to and can go and check what is going on. So other than that, it's very important that the implementations that are being on the field, that they have a way of sharing the information of their activities and their development process, and also the results directly to an on-chain system that is can never be changed, and it's always on the cloud so that everybody can access it. This can be through different measurement technologies. I wouldn't specify on one specific technology, but I believe according to the implementation and the community capabilities, we need to define what kind of measurement system we would have available for each one of the projects. But that's something that we can build all together. Thank you. That's what I wanted to share.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you. Very interesting, and hope that everyone connected can bring us your perspective related to this technology, and how can we use this technology for that people that has been going on working in the grassroots problems, and understanding the situations, and how can we bridge the gaps that we already are aware of, and apply this technology for good, right? So maybe Juan Sebastián, if you want to jump in and tell us a bit more what the Environmental Market Fairness Foundation is doing in order to try to make this type of process and projects become bottom up, and what are your vision, and what are your experiences in order to for this vision and our methodologies to be applied in a coherent way, and in a way that it can be implemented and actually gain results and show results, in order to track and to become more appealing for the investing sector, right? For the finance sector.
Thank you, Agustin. Thank you for the question. So, from our perspective, we are from a foundation called the Environmental Market Fairness Foundation. Our main goal, our main mission is to promote fairness in all environmental markets, and one of the markets is the carbon market. Why? Because we see that even though carbon markets, voluntary carbon markets, and other environmental markets are necessary for give resources to the community, to the environment, to have a connectivity between the different stakeholders. We have seen that a lot of is happening. I think most of you know what is happening around the Guardian and Vera and everything like that. So there's something that is not working right now in the markets. From our perspective, here mostly in Latin America and in Colombia, most of the carbon projects have community involved, because most of the communities are in territory. And I have been, I could see that most of this of the projects have some high challenges, and one of this is the governance of the communities. If we see a project that have a good governance, and we see that the communities are learning how the projects work, if see that the communities take the ownership at the end of the project, is when we see high quality carbon projects, and with high quality carbon projects, we can see also more sustainable project. But how can we achieve this high governance, this understanding from the communities how this works? Well, it's step by step. The first step is pretty traditional. Talk to the community, show them the projects, and then move forward to the implementation. And I think here is we will connect is the technology. How can take place here? I believe that most of the product developers should stay just a limited time in the helping the communities develop the project, and then we can use the communities for the communities take decisions. The technology through understanding how the prices of the carbon credits are working, why they are doing this, when to sell, when to buy, when to use the money to this necessity of the community, when to put more effort from the development of the project, and have a decentralized alternative so they can make their decision without the need of anyone else, without the need of the government, without the need of another private, without the need of the investment. And if someone wants to invest, they also will have all the data and all the information to see and negotiate with how their own projects is working. So from the foundation, we believe that technology is important to achieve transparency, to achieve fairness, to give the power to the communities, because it is that the only way that we believe the projects are sustainable in time, because they are the ones that know their ecosystems, that know the life of their own territory, that know how it has been working from ages, and that actually can protect them. So technology is formed to, and technology is in a broad space right now. I mean, you can have a lot of tools, and that's what we are trying to promote. And how we can promote also this, because important is through education, through showing them the tools, to have a program where they can implement these technological tools. And eventually, I always say that the best thing that we can do is to disappear from the picture and to let any project owner or any community principal to take control of their own assets, natural assets. So that's how I think, that's what the foundation wants to do, and that's how I think technology can help us to achieve this fairness that we want and that is needed, because for the moment other methodologies or other ideas has not yet achieved the ground of the projects.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you. And I was reflecting on,
Austin?
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to ask if you want me to give some ideas about the questions we thought, and maybe some of the participants will involve with sharing some thoughts.
Yeah, obviously, but I just think that I found a very interesting question that I think is the crossroads where these two worlds need to be merged, right? The technology, the high-tech sector with the locally led adaptation sector. And I think that it's it's something that drives me out of sleep for the last years, which is this question around how can we actually use this type of technologies, such as the one that Juan Duran was mentioning, and also digital MRVs and artificial intelligence and blockchains, in order to measure resilience in such a way that it's appealing for investors. Because something that I would like to put once again the slide, which is, I think it's the core issue we need to focus on, right? How can we totally revert this data, these statistics, right? This 3% of adaptation initiatives bringing real reductions. And I think if technology is not aligned with this, as we are trying to seek for projects and for cases where this is being well aligned with projects that are reverting these statistics and actually be mainstream, right? So just I wanted to point it out this because I think it's very interesting as to connect these two worlds. So Mayra, if you want to open the floor, go ahead and
Okay.
just to leave it out that way. Yeah.
Yeah, as we said, we tried to make this part of the session like a roundtable or brainstorming session. So inviting all the participants as well as speakers to join and think together about these things and the thing that actually the topic that Agustin pointed out recently. So I will leave these options of questions or initiators in the chat, and we'll share with you as well, and so you can continue from there. In the first one was I think the thing that Agustin was actually saying recently. What is the role of technology or Web3 technology, the blockchain technology, in scaling up the climate change adaptation? And another one is if we can find real life cases that can be measured in terms of resilience building at the local level.
Juan, do you want to jump in? Juan Duran? Maybe you can share some of your thoughts around the questions Mayra raised, which is, I think it's also related to the question I wrote in the chat and I told. And I think it's something that it's we actually are trying to use all the experiences from the carbon market sectors and how measuring carbon, which is a commonly accepted metric worldwide for mitigation, how that can be translated into benefits for resilience, right? And not only at a community that can be a city, but thinking in bioregions, for instance. So Juan, if you can tell us your vision in how measuring carbon, but not only measuring carbon, how blockchain, for instance, could be used in such a way that can measure real adaptation efforts and results in order to get the finance flow and the investors in general aligned with this need that it's urgent and we know we need. And you can tell us your experience in the Amazon, Juan, where
Perfect.
we become evangelized by adaptation needs.
No, perfect. It was so actually it's very interesting because I was once in a cook stove project in Senegal, like 1 year ago, I believe, and there were some blockchain enthusiasts there, and when they recognized that there was no internet connection there, they got like scared. And I like those kind of real life connections because I see technology in three ways. So the blockchain platform provides a way of, no, I will start with the technology that you need on the field. You need technology on the field and you need the development of technology and methodologies to make it possible, for example, the restoration implementations. So you need technology to provide, for example, solutions that the soil recovers faster, or you also need solutions that can make resilient systems or adapt adaptive systems to floods or to any kind of solutions from climate. So you need technology in place on the field to implement those kinds of solutions. Then afterwards, you also need technology to measure and see and that everybody can see what is actually being implemented. So you need communications technology to show to the world what is being implemented, what kind of technology is being implemented on the field. So we have two kinds of technology, the implementation technology and the communications technology. And afterwards, what you need and what the blockchain offers, what a DAO offers, is the opportunity to share all this information about the technology and the implementations on the field, trusting that the system itself it's actually safeguarded by the community, and it doesn't respond to specific bureaucracy, but it responds actually to the needs of the community, and it's showing actually what is being implemented on the field. I believe those are the three aspects that we can say about technology. The specific technologies that will be implemented or that should be implemented on the field are technologies. Some of them are already known. For example, cook stove. Cook stove implementation is one technology, but dam building systems is one technology. Irrigation system or many systems, like for example, how to grow seeds, is also a technology that is already on the field. But we will need also to implement new technologies. That's for one hand. And for the other hand, we will need how to communicate to the world what is being implemented. When we can communicate and when we trust who is communicating and what they are communicating, then we can have a flow of money that goes from the people that want to support and invest in sustainable development and the projects that are actually implementing the systems. I believe that's it.
Now you mentioned something very interesting, which is who is communicating. That is also something that brings me out of bed as per my experience in the international cooperation system regarding projects within the climate action finance flow. And I think that it's also very interesting in order to see how can blockchain and technology in general can actually provide a way to legitimize decisions or legitimize that what a community is actually putting into a decision actually represents what the community, the real community, or at least the lowest bias way in order for a community to be represented. How can we get to those results? How can we get to the community to be involved in decision making, right? Because we all know here within the sector that in some projects, maybe Juan Sebastian also knows about this, but in some projects where we somehow think or believe that a community is being represented, then when we see the results after the project ends, for instance, we can see that the results in a way were biased because the community was not represented, or because the project was focused on maybe the owner of land that is producing the mitigation outcomes, for instance, right? And not the whole communities that need the ecosystems to survive and thrive, such as water basins, for instance. So I think, Juan, that you detailed very, very precisely the question about who is communicating, and that obviously blockchain gives us this transaction record where you can see what is going on, but then we need to go to the grassroots and see who is participating in those decisions, right? And that's something that I think if we can open the mic to anyone here that wants to share their experiences at the grassroots in projects, how can we merge this technology with the work you are doing in order to try to get the community as more legitimate as possible? Please become part of this vision and share your thoughts with us. So Mayra, I don't know if anyone or Farin there, if anyone wants to jump in from the participants, it would be great for us to hear you.
Okay, for the moment, we don't have much interaction here in the chat, but well, Agustin just shared with us the questions and the topics, so we expect you to give us some impressions about it. And I don't know if Juan Sebastian want to share about something about what Juan was saying. And
Khalil Mughal is saying, I don't have any access to participation.
Yes, I'll actually ask a question.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, yes, we are.
Hi, am I audible? I'm sorry, having some technological issues. So basically, my question was, in Bangladesh, when we work with adaptation in the grassroots level, a lot of the people that we work with don't actually have access to smartphones and other technological devices. So how can we actually make them technologically adapted in the proper way?
Thank you for raising the question, Farin. And yeah, obviously that is a very common gap. And as per our experience through the members, within the members of the United Species DAO, we have a very interesting case, for instance, in Huila, Colombia, run by our member, which is Coco DAO, which is another DAO that is connected to United Species Super DAO. And what she found in the grassroots in that bioregion in Huila, Colombia, is that besides the gap of accessing to a cell phone, of accessing to internet, in some cases there are the community, for instance, an indigenous community that it's not connected to internet in general, they have their own ways to deliberate decision making, right? So if we can, in such a way, connect those institutional arrangements or those traditional arrangements they have in their communities in such a way that can be uploaded into the blockchain, at least we have that in a transaction record that cannot be immuted. I mean by this, once the decision of the community, even though if they are not connected, which obviously we need to work in that regard, the technology system needs to obviously bridge the gap of connection of these people. But in the meantime, it is possible to do to connect with people in the grassroots, and at least those decisions from the communities to be uploaded into the blockchain, and there you at least reduce the amount of transactions of the intermediaries to reach the finance sector, or the demand sector of projects, for instance, or investments to the fields, right? So I think that's one temporary meantime solution, but obviously it requires the work of the team members in the grassroots in order to put that information into the blockchain and at least reduce the intermediation as much as possible. But obviously the gap of connectivity is something that needs to be solved, and it will be solved in a progressive way as long as the communities get more access to internet. But I want to hear from your side if you have if this pops you some ideas around some concrete projects from your side.
Sorry, Farin, do we have another question? Because I think we don't have access to the question of participants.
Yes, we actually have a question from Khalil Mughal. I am allowing him to speak for his.
Khalil, we can hear you. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. The recent floods in Southeast Asia last monsoon, particular in Pakistan. But to our experience, we are a Dutch initiative working in Pakistan, helping out those people. To our experience, strangely, the only communication channel that was alive during the floods or even now during the rehabilitation is the mobile phone. And that mobile density is so strong there. And, and then I would say 90% people possess mobile. And among those, again, 60 to 65% have smartphones. Not that high tech, but then they have some kind of smartphone. At least WhatsApp can work. So in that scenario, what can you offer through the technology? What is the platform that they should connect? And especially when the challenge is one challenge that we face here, there is a triangle that we work, the help from us, people there who need help, and then the government agencies, because the local body system is not really that strong. It's very centralized system, so everything goes through the district head, which is appointed by a deputy commissioner, appointed by the government, and then he's the person who says yes or no even to our help. So how do you think this phenomena can be connected, and how technology can help?
Thank you very much, Khalil. Obviously, disasters topic. It's something else, right? It's different, and most of the projects we have been working on are mostly focused on planification and adaptation measures, and not particularly the disasters alleviation processes or aid processes. So I'm not sure how to answer your question. I know that there are projects around the world in which the crypto sector, the Web3 crypto sector, I mean the using the technology in a way that can traduce, for instance, a cryptocurrency into the local currency in a very fast way or faster way than fiat currency. It has been useful for some communities experiencing disasters. I know about that in some cases, for instance, in the war in Ukraine or in the now in the disasters processes that have been going on in Turkey, that crypto has been mobilizing resources in a way that there can be transferred in a more fast way to a wallet that has been that has from someone there that has a mobile phone and it's already connected, or not only people but also institutions that are working in the grassroots that have their own wallets where they can buy or receive cryptocurrency. That has been proved, as long as I know, as a way to alleviate disasters, but obviously is something that in our opinion or as per our delivery model, it's mostly related to prevention of disasters, right? Of disaster risk management. And in that regard, that's why we try to conceptualize and the real vulnerability problems that are having the communities, and with the technology of Web3 try to look out for for finance that is related to prevention of disasters, right? To generation of resilience. But it's very interesting what you raised, because it's something that obviously needs to be done, and we can explore it a bit more in depth.
Well, thank you, Agustin, and thank you, Khalil, for your question. I don't know, Farin, if you have another participant wanting to add some comments or queries. Okay, so I don't know, Agustin, if you have some sum up lines, or we are just about the time.
We've been very punctual. Now it's 11 here in Latin America, Western time, and it has been a pleasure to be here. And we left you there our account from Twitter, and also afterwards we can share we shared already our email and our contacts, and we invite the community of local area adaptation to share efforts in this regard, because we know, as Juan Sebastian was mentioning, that what is being done so far is not enough, and it has been misleading from the roots. So we really understand that this needs to be get upside down in order to create projects that are developed by communities and understand the vulnerability of communities, and how the Web3 and the blockchain technologies can faster and more efficiently connect those decisions with finance flows is something that really needs to be mainstream. And that's why we are here, and we invite everyone here in this community to be involved in our DAO. And well, we believe this is just a start from us engaging with ICCID and the community, and we believe that other areas and other opportunities are to come. And thank you very much, Farin, and everyone from the organizers for the slot.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us, and hope you can contact